Alright, so today we'll be talking about One Piece chapter 1048. It is titled 20 Years. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm surprised. The past like 3 or 4 chapters, they've been releasing earlier and earlier. It used to release like Fridays at 3 a.m., but then it started being at like 10 a.m. on Thursdays, and now it's starting to be like around 5, even 6 o'clock on Thursdays. So I'm actually surprised by this, but it was a pretty decent chapter. Mostly flashback heavy, I will say. The cover page, it has Brule. She is talking about where's Reiju and where's, I believe, Niji or Ichiji, one of the two, trying to figure out where they're at in case they're trying to come back and help Yonji and whichever brother isn't there. And so that's about it. The cover page, not really important. We cut to where we left off with Luffy about to hit Kaido with his fist, and he's like, Momo, you gotta move that big old island out the way because he's trying to bring the hammer down. And Momo, he looks, he's like, Luffy, he's like, Luffy, I understand you're trying to get rid of Kaido, but I can't do that, so you're gonna have to relax. And so Momo, he's trying his hardest to like push and headbutt Onigashima out the way. It's kind of funny. Momo, he's just sitting there. At first I thought he like rammed his head into it. I was gonna be like, what the heck is that gonna do? But then I saw his little arms. It reminds me of I don't know if you guys have seen Meet the Robinsons, but the scene where he's like, I have a big head and little arms. That's what this reminds me of. Kaido then shows a form. It's called, I believe, Breathing Drum Dragon or Breath Drum Dragon, Flame Drum Dragon, something along those lines, where he is now engulfed in flames. This kind of reminds me of a little bit about the Lunarians and King, because there was a scene when King did an attack that Zoro stated to be as hot as magma. And so seeing Kaido transform, made when he was experimented on, they put something in his DNA to make him be able to turn this. Maybe this is awakening, I'm not sure, but Kaido is on fire, and it's so hot that Luffy had to bring his hand back. He's like, dang, it's hot. Where Kaido, he's like, I'm not gonna dodge. And he also talks about how the country, they had somebody burning 20 years ago in Odin, and that the people of Wano have waited for a savior, Luffy and the Alliance, in order to save them from the tyranny. And we're about to see this clash of Luffy versus Kaido, with Kaido using his final attack and Luffy using his. Kaido, he uses an attack called the Blazing Bagua, and Luffy uses the Beijing gun, and it's basically whatever Kaido's blast breath, the max power it could be, and Luffy's fist is the max power it can be. This kind of reminds me of the struggle between Doflamingo and Luffy with the King Kong gun and the bullet string a little bit, because we cut into before we cut into the flashback, we saw Kiku and Kiyomon. They are falling on the ground, and Uso's like, dang, I'm sorry. We also cut to different members of the Alliance cheering Luffy on, and we also see Kawamatsu talking, or we get a flashback where this is kind of a mist of WANO'S flashback, Kaido's flashback, and a little bit of Orochi, because the way it transitioned from Kaido to the Scabbards and then to Orochi, where we came from Kaido and the Scabbards in the present to the past, and then back to Orochi in the present. It's all three of them intertwined. It happened at the execution and a little bit of stuff that happened afterwards. But I want to mention that a little bit about the attack that Luffy, he was, like I said earlier, it burnt his hand, and so he had to pull it back a little bit, well, the hand that was normal. And so he talks to Kaido, Kaido's like, it'll burn your hand alive, and Luffy's like, well, thanks to the old man Hirogoro and Udon, I now know how to use an attack called Ryo, or Advanced Armament, where I don't have to hit you when I punch you. And that's when he did that attack. The flashback, it's basically after Odin's death, where the Scabbards are running to Kuri, and Orochi, he's trying to tell everybody to get rid of the Scabbards, get rid of anything related to Odin, because they're going to try and make Kozuki Momonosuke the new shogun of Wano. And there's Kaido. He looks around. People are like, hey, let them go, right? The Kazuki's finished. And Kaido just said, mink, mink, mink. He's just using his club in order to get rid of other people. And then there's where the different people are trying to revolt against Kaido. If you guys remember, there were the different daimos of Wano that stood up to Kaido, and it was even speculated that in the future that well, in the past, if Kaido and them not Kaido, if Odin and them teamed up together, that potentially they could take him down. And so we get Ushimaru and the other members of the flashback with Yamato, how they're in prison and then they escaped. I believe the chapter was called No Name or An Unknown Name. So those members, they were here, they fought Kaido and they lost, where different members are like, man, if only Orochi didn't have Kaido backing him up, then we would be able to defeat him easily. Because, well, Orochi, let's be real, Orochi's he's a nobody. And it just showcased how much power and influence they had, because after all those people were wiped out, it just showcases how Wano had changed. It was very flourishing. Everything was thriving. People had a lot of food and a lot of, well, everything, where now it's regulated and only Orochi and Kaido have that stuff, where different people are in prison throwing an udon, and even the prisoners are like, hey, just believe in Toki and what she says and everything will be all right. It showcases people being hungry, people stealing. It showcases the water supply being polluted, no longer being clear waters, and now it's dark, and a lot of other things. Just shows Orochi being happy and that he's the shogun and that he gets whatever he wants. Where we cut to Orochi on fire. He's about to attack Komurasaki because he blames her and the family and everything that's going on, because obviously he's about to be defeated. And then he's trying to attack Komurasaki or Hiyori, where the panel, to me, it looked like she drew her sword, but it was Dendro who came and cut down Orochi. Makes sense. Dendro had been missing in action for a lot of the arc. This wasn't something that it wasn't a plot twist. We all knew Dendro would come back. And so a lot of people there are hoping that Momonosuke with Amano Hakabiri would slay down Orochi, but he got his hands full, so we'll give him a pass. I'm kind of sick and tired. Orochi's an annoying character. Kanjuro, it was cool, like the twist and being a traitor was cool and all, but I feel like they've been alive and revived so many times that I hope finally that they're dead and that their plot points are finished. We cut to different images of the lanterns at the fire festival, where they say, please get rid of Orochi, please let us be free, please let us have happiness, all that fun jazz, where it just showcases how much the people, they hate Kaido, how much people hate Orochi. And then we cut to Luffy and Kaido having their little struggle with the fist and the blast breath, and that's the end of the chapter. Like I said, that reminds me of Doflamingo and Luffy's struggle. But I will say that this was a pretty okay chapter. I give about an 8 out of 10. It was very important for the world building, very important that this is the climax. And I truly believe, in terms of fighting, that I think Luffy versus Kaido probably lasts anywhere between 3 and 5 more chapters. I truly believe that Wano probably has about 15 to like 20 more chapters. We're probably the next 5, because all the other plot points are done in terms of like opponents. The only person left is Kaido, and if this is the final struggle, then Kaido's not going to last very long. We still got to get a little bit more about his flashback, but I truly think Wano is about to end this arc. Give me about 20, 22 to 25 more chapters and I think it's done. I know that some people are disappointed that Wano's ended, some people are happy. I'm in the middle. I can't really decide. I think it has been going on for a while, and I will say, if Luffy defeats him with his one punch, I'm not going to say I'll be disappointed, but I need like a little bit more than just a regular punch. I know Gear 5th is a lot, but it is what it is. I also want to see Zoro get back up. I want to see more about his plot points, because he's been out of action for a minute, all right? I know this is Luffy part, but I'm a Zoro fanboy, so I need him back in the fold. But like I said, overall it's a good chapter. There's not a break next week, but I think the week after that there's supposed to be a break. We've been having a lot of breaks recently. I know we had one for Oda, then we had one for Weekly Shonen Jump, then we're gonna have another one for Oda, then we'll have 3 straight chapters, so I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. Like I said, I think it was needed, a little bit of it was kind of needed and not needed. I feel like we already knew about this stuff from this chapter. I just think it was more like a fluff chapter, if you will, but I give it about an 8 out of 10. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on new info. On Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's on the screen in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.